कर चेहरा से मैं चिन्हलो सबके तो खाए के अथी कर दे रहला ओकर चेहरा से मैं चिन्हलो जौन जौन पिंध हुई रहला से का देखलो और चिन्हलो मैं मुके तुमने जाहे नहीं देवात रहला इन्होंने देखला तले चिन्हलो मैं
On March 12, 2016, the remains of a migrant worker were found on a patch of grass in the Nilgiris district, southern India. His name was Magu, a worker in this sprawling tea estate. Postmortem findings revealed Magu's killer was a man-eating tiger.
पहले तो डर नहीं लगत रहला उतना अब तो डर लगेला ओसन हो गेला तो डर नहीं लगी अभी जैसन ढुकी तैसन लगेला खिड़की में बैठ रहलो तो भात मन खाए होले हुलकी कट्ठी मन लाइन लाइन के आवत रहला तो हुलकी तैसन लगत रहला
Magu's death shrouded the village in fear. Afraid of tiger attacks, many villagers refused to step out of their homes. The forest department tracked Magu's killer for a week and formed a team to catch the animal. But the tiger had to be shot dead after efforts to tranquilize it failed. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012, this valley, surrounded by blue mountains, is now the site of a deadly war between man and beast. According to government records, 166 people in the state were killed by wild animals from 2012 to 2015. Tigers strike great fear among people, but the biggest killer, accounting for over 133 deaths, is an animal worshipped as god in India: elephants.
அப்பா ஐயங்குள்ள பாத்ரூம் வேலைக்கு போவார். வாரத்தில் ஒரு நாளைக்கு 2 நாளைக்கு வீட்டுக்கு வருவார். இப்போ காலையில் இங்கேருந்து நேரத்தில் போயிடுவார். ஒரு 6 மணிக்கு போயிடுவார். அந்த மாதிரி போயிருக்க டைமில் தான் ஆணைக்கிட்ட அடிபட்டார்.
The death of Muttaya from an elephant attack has caused grief and fright among his neighbors in Nayangoli. If a villager wants to go out during the so-called elephant hours, he or she risks being trampled upon by the giant mammal. So they observe a curfew. Authorities blame human encroachment on the animal's habitat for the attacks.
Human-animal conflict is increasing in the past 4 or 5 years, not before that. Only in the past 4 or 5 years the conflict has increased, mainly due to the shortage of food supply, as I told you, in the inside the forest area. And because of that, it migrates to the other area. That is one reason. Second reason is that there are a lot of private tea estates encroaching upon the forest lands, and they try to erect upon the electric fences. And because of that, the regular route of the elephant is affected, and it tries to move crisscross into the other areas. And because of that, the elephant movement is restricted to the roadside and to the densely populated town areas.
The British Raj, which ruled India until 1947, had exploited the Nilgiri biosphere's natural resources since the 1800s. When the Indian government absorbed over 300,000 Sri Lankan refugees in the 1960s and 70s, huge tracts of land were cleared and turned into tea plantations. That gave the people jobs but also disrupted wildlife.
நடவடிக்கையா மட்டும்தான் எடுத்துருக்காங்களே பொதுவாக எந்த இதுவுமே
பண்றதில்ல. நீங்களும்
ஏன்னா இது நிரந்தரமா இது நடந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு. யாருமே இதுக்கு எந்த ஒரு முன்னாக்ஷன் எடுக்கிறதே இல்லை. யானைகள் வருது போகுது, வந்தால் ஃபாரஸ்ட் வராங்க, 4 பேர் வராங்க, கொஞ்சம் அப்புறப்படுத்துவாங்க. மறுநாள் அதே இடத்துக்கு வந்தது. இவர் வீட்டுக்கு பக்கத்தில் டெய்லி 10 ஆனை 12 ஆனை நின்றுட்டு இருக்கும். இவர் வீட்டை விட்டு வெளில வர முடியாது. இங்கே உள்ள பக்கத்தில் உள்ள நாங்களாம் போய் தான் இவர் வீட்டை விட்டு வெளில கூட்டு வந்த சூழ்நிலை இருக்குது. அந்த அவ்வளோ பிரச்சனைகள் இருக்குது. இதெல்லாம் கவர்மெண்ட்டும் முக்கிய நடவடிக்கை எடுத்தே ஆகணும்.
There is a need for some degree of coexistence with these animals, and both with their levels of intellect and thinking, we need to at least understand that in what ways we can minimize the possibility of interaction. That is, we take adequate precautionary measures of preventing these late night movements and movements in untimely hours or the times in which elephants are active. Just by that, large amount of conflict can be minimized.
Their shrinking habitat is also believed to be a cause of tiger attacks on humans. Territorial fights among male tigers leads them to be critically injured and get pushed out of their home range. Because they are unable to hunt wild animals, they may enter human-dominated areas and go for easier prey like cattle or humans. To make matters worse, the government agency tasked with safeguarding both human and animal lives has poor resources.
If you take the forest department in Tamil Nadu, it has been the last priority of government. Even in the budget time, if you check, the very least budget has been given to the forest department. And forest department in Tamil Nadu, to be very frank, it is ill-equipped.
Sadiq Ali is a local conservationist who has spent more than a decade helping the forest department conserve and protect wild animals in the Nilgiri biosphere. He works with local volunteers and specializes in rescue operations and the safe release of wildlife caught in human traps.
Once it becomes a man-eater, maybe first incident, maybe an accidental incident, it wouldn't have thought it's a human. Maybe an animal, it kills a human thinking it's an animal, and maybe it can change its next kill to a wild. But we, from the department side, from the government side, we need to give it time. We need to give a lot of awareness to people and see that the people are safeguarded, and let the animal has to be tracked first and followed in a proper way, and see that it starts hunting by its own and takes up like a deer or a wild pig, like that. But again, if it goes for a second human, definitely that animal has to be captured, have to be taken to the captivity.
The authorities aim to capture the animals in safety, but not all rescue missions are successful. Like tigers, sloth bears are another species that have become victims of the man-animal conflict. They have been found to stray into human habitat in search of food, water, and shelter. In Irupukal village, a sloth bear killed 2 people and permanently disfigured another. A team from the forest department surrounded the bear in a tea garden, and a doctor tried to sedate it. But Sadiq Ali, who was part of the mission, says that some people beat the animal with wooden sticks. The bear attacked them in retaliation, and then it was shot dead.
We carried it in the vehicle, but the people, around 3,000 people, have blocked us and thinking that we have sedated the animal and we are carrying the animal outside to release. That's what the people were thinking. But it was shot dead. They didn't know that it was dead.
According to Sadiq Ali, successful rescue missions are possible if the operations are strategically planned and executed. On the other hand, an ill-conceived rescue mission could even result in death.
And what I feel that a particular operation is been a big negative operation whatever operations we have succeeded, and it has taught us lots. In future, we are not supposed to do that. It has given a good lesson to us.
In the animal world, there is no sense of personal property. It's a world governed only by the creature's need for survival. A need that often clashes with human beings' interests and often greed. The ongoing war has dealt heavy casualties on both sides, but little has been done to mitigate it. And as humans and animals all continue to fight for their place in this part of the world, an end to the conflict is not yet in sight. For Assignment Asia, I'm Jyoti Karat in the Nilgiris, India.